my non-medical opinion, that fight should have been stopped. And he could have avoided so much unnecessary punishment. I don't think it was fair to Cordoba, but that should happen. He was game, he was the world champion, he was entitled to a chance. But tonight, Bernard Dunne, you have risen to the greatest occasion of your life. Fantastic. And is he
entirely out of the skin? He fought 100% better than he's ever fought before in his entire life. What a performance, what a night. What a night for
absolutely fascinating contest.
But Jim, it was the fight of his life, wasn't it?
Yeah.
This was the fight of his life, and really just surprised me. I always knew Bernard Dunne was definitely European level, but I wasn't sure whether he was actually world level, and he's proved it for him. I mean, he's proved me wrong. I thought Cordoba, I genuinely thought Cordoba would have had just that little bit too much for Bernard Dunne, but by God, has he proved me wrong and proved a lot of other people wrong, and I'm delighted for him.
It was a testament to how hard he trained and the fitness levels that he had to get dropped, because he was out on his feet there in the 5th round. He looked out of it, but he sucked it up, he got through the round, he had that experience.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 2 minutes and 59 seconds of round 11, the winner by knockout and the new WBA Super Bantamweight Champion of the World, Bernard Dunne!
The WBA belt's been put around his waist. A fabulous moment for Bernard Dunne. Man who has so many fans before this. Well, he'll have a few thousand more after it. He's a bit tired, but the adrenaline will keep him going. Look at this for reception. Where were you on the 21st of March 2009? I'd say there'd be 250,000 people in Cardiff and 500,000 people in O2. But it's one of those nights. One of those nights you want to tell lies about. That you want. Well, we were there and we hope you enjoyed it. Live on RT television.
Bernard Dunne, congratulations, you are a world champion. I know you dreamt as a boy in Neilstown that one day you would win the world title, but you've done it. Congrats. Your thoughts?
I mean, there was times in that fight when there was times there when Ricardo was just putting pressure on, and his hand just seemed so fast. And after the 3rd round, I started to get blurred vision, and I couldn't see out the left eye really at all, and the right eye was starting to go blurry, and I had to keep trying to wipe the blood away. But it's ours. It's all ours. I said during the week, if there was one comment I could make, that comment was believe. And I believed I could win this world. You know, I've sacrificed so much, you know, dedicated so much of my time, been away from my family. And like, this just makes every moment of it worthwhile. It really does. This has justified absolutely everything I've ever done in boxing.
Let me just bring you through the fight, Bernard, because in the 3rd round you knocked Ricardo Cordoba, and then he came back in the 5th and you fell a couple of times. Just analyse it for me. What were your thoughts? What was going through your mind as this amazing fight unfolded?
Well, fell's a good way to describe it. He caught me with 2 right hooks, I think it was, and they were just perfect shots. I was strong, and a lot of credit for that has to go to Mikey McGorn. Mikey has worked me so hard for the last 4 or 5 months, himself and Fergus. You know, I thank Brian and Hunky Doherty's for getting the fight here. Martin Donnelly for all the support. And, you know, if there's 2 people that completely had faith in me, they're my dad and Harry Hawkins. These guys never, ever doubted I could win a world title. And, you know, I owe an awful lot to them. I really do.
When you consider your journey, Bernard, you won the European title, you lost on this ground to Kiko Martinez, and yet you went to Croke Park the following day and you faced 80,000 people and you said you would be back. Did you ever doubt your own ability?
Well, you see, it's not just about me doubting. You have to have good people around you. And I have a good team around me. These people support me and trust me. And you guys have been fantastic. Like, you know, this has been amazing. This is for everybody here. Everybody here has contributed to this.
When exactly did you know, give him a drop of water as well, in fairness, he deserves it. When did you know that you were still in this fight? Because when you were down, you must have thought, oh my God, this is awful.
I knew I had to dig deep against this guy. You know, I knew coming in here what a mammoth mountain it was for me to climb. And there was people who weren't giving me a chance against this guy. They weren't. You know, there was members of the press who didn't believe I could do it. You know, I showed I've got guts, you know, I'm focused, I'm determined. You know, I think I can box anybody. I think tonight I proved I got strength. You know, I really did.
What did Harry say to you, Harry Hawkins, in that corner? Because I knew you were listening to him. I could see you were intense and you were really concentrating. But what exactly did he say?
Harry was saying every time I come back to the corner, 1 round at a time. It's a 3-minute fight. That's all I had to think of. It's the next 3 minutes. You know, not the 11, 12 rounds that were coming ahead of me. You know, if you think that far ahead, you know, it is exhausting. Hardy just kept saying, 1 round, 1 round. That's all you got to do. You've won that round or you've lost that round. Let's keep pushing forward. You know, keep pushing him back. Because when I did push him back, I was getting more success. You know, but I do thank Ricardo for coming here. You know, he had guts, he had balls to come up here and fight me in front of my home fans. And, you know, I hope he's well. I hope he's okay backstage.
We're going to dwell on that in a moment because I believe he's okay. Best medical team, Mr. Joe McKeever, Mr. Terry Crystal and Professor Jack Phillips are here, and I believe that he's going to be fine.
Yeah, you know, I think it was more exhaustion really on his behalf more than anything else, you know. But, you know, there's I'm trying not to forget anybody here, but, you know, even going back to my amateur days, you know, when I trained with my dad and Peter Purdy, you know, these are people who contribute so much towards making me who I am. And Peter still trains this moment in time down CE in Chicora, and you know, I'm sure I think Peter's here, you know, but you know, they've all helped me, you know, they really helped me.
Don't go away now because I want you to stay here. But I want you to be here with us. Harry, what a moment for you as trainer of a world champion.
Yes, fantastic. No one deserves it more than Bernard Dunne. And I must say, Brian Peters deserves a world champion for his promotions that he puts on here tonight. It's been fantastic. Everyone will agree. What a team. We are delighted for him. Absolutely delighted.
Analyse it for me, because when you saw Bernard coming into the corner with 2 cuts over his left eye, he went down a couple of times. You know, did you ever say, what were your thoughts? What did you say to him?
I don't think anyone realises how much work that Bernard Dunne and myself have put in for the last 12 weeks. I had the bollocks in my house for 9 weeks. He wasn't going home without that belt, you know. But he realises the work he's put in, you know. And I would really like to thank Kiko Martinez for putting us where we are. Bernard believed he would come back. We knew. We learned a hard lesson, and we have come back and won a world title. Fair play to Bernard Dunne. He deserves all he gets.
Well, fair play to you, Harry Hawkins. Brian Peters, you've promoted boxing over the last couple of years and put it back into the limelight, and now you have a world champion on your hands.
We certainly do, and I'd like to thank Hunky Dory's RT Sport and all these fantastic people that have supported us. But like, what a fight, what a champion, what a night. There's a phrase used, the world is your oyster. It's used a bit too often, but Bernard Dunne, by God, is he the main man.
It's been a historic, an amazing day in the history of Irish sport. Would you not agree?
Definitely, definitely. People talk about the Italian 90, they talk about everyone that's here tonight, their grandchildren to be talking about this day for Irish sport. Fair play to the rugby lads. But like Bernard Dunne, what a fighter, and it's a pleasure to be working with him.